And this is the pregame on OSN. Lee Versage, Tanner Riley, Ottawa Senators, and the Edmonton Oilers. A 9 p.m. Eastern start. Tanner's got his coffee or whatever he's got. He's ready to go. Oh, he's Taco Bell.
The girlfriend had a craving tonight. She wanted a cheesy gordita crunch. So
a little ad placement. A little ad placement never hurts.
I mean, if they want to sponsor the show, I think we'd be open to working with them.
Hold on. So you're in Barhaven. You drove to Canada?
Lee, when the girlfriend wants Taco Bell,
Tanner, this is another show here. Like, you've already given like a full other show with this. This is fantastic because where you live, it's not really that near a Taco Bell.
It's about 20 minutes, give or take. But you know what? I had 32 thoughts on in the car and went for a nice drive after work. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, I heard a bunch of people, not a bunch of people. I heard a couple things online about Elliot Friedman and one of the things he said on Saturday night. I'm like, man, we need to get to hockey here. So let's get.
You know what? Hey, if you want to, I'll make it even better. On the drive home, I had This Is Wrestling on in the car.
Well, you probably weren't able to get through it completely. One of the longest shows ever. Like, there was points on that show where I'm like, in my head, like, Zach, we need to stop. And then just kept going and going and going. But This Is Wrestling. You can also find, of course, on OSN. This is OSN.com. Pregame. Tonight, the aforementioned Hornswoggle, Zach McGibbon, will join us on the postgame. And that'll be fun because it's a late one. We'll let you get to bed. But it's a big one for the Ottawa Senators as they're in Edmonton. We're 3 days before the NHL trade deadline. So give us a little bit of your view at the next 3 days for Ottawa. They got Edmonton, they got Calgary, and then they got the deadline before Saturday. And I'm framing it off that way.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I guess the market's starting to open up. It seemed like there was a lot of activity today and sort of yesterday. I know we're going to talk about Connor Murphy a little bit. I think that sort of set the market for what Ottawa might be looking at, trying to add a depth defenseman. For those who missed it, acquired from the Chicago Blackhawks for a second-round draft pick, 50% retained salary. So you got to think if the Senators are looking for a similar defensive player, probably without the salary retention, maybe like a third-round pick or so, which the Senators have quite a few of. But from my point of view, I think it's going to be a smaller, quieter deadline than we saw last year when they acquired Fabian Zetterlund and Dylan Cousins. Mm-hmm. I'm anticipating probably a smaller move, maybe a right shot defenseman, could be a forward. We followed the idea of a backup goalie on the post-game show the other night. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. But I don't think it's going to be a crazy week for the Senators because what they're doing right now is working, barring us seeing a big change today. I am fascinated by Calgary because we know that Staios has been talking to Conroy. Mm-hmm. And if you want to make a trade, do you try to get that done before the game in Calgary so that you don't have to play against one of those players? And you can weaken their lineup a little bit. And hey, hopefully, maybe Nazem Kadri's out of there by then. Maybe another move or two. But yeah, it's must-win games. It's big games. The Oilers are going to be playing pissed off tonight. So I'm interested to see how they can start this.
So what do you think of the Connor Murphy deal as far as, from both sides and the price to acquire Connor Murphy?
It was a little bit, I guess it's probably on par. I was going to say I was probably anticipating a third or a fourth for him, but when you add in that salary retention, I think it makes sense. I did see that statistically Connor Murphy is the best penalty killer in the NHL this year. And wow. That's an area which surprising, it's Chicago. I wouldn't think of them as a great team. But that's an area that the Oilers have been struggling a little bit. I also like how it balances out their defense a little bit because he can fit on the second pair with Jake Wallman. It lets you stack up Ekholm and Bouchard because just doing my pregame notes today, their defensive lineups tonight are kind of in a blender. And I looked at some of their practice notes that's kind of been a struggle for them in the last couple of games. I mean, we've seen the high scores here that they've let up in their last few games. It has not been a great stretch for the Edmonton Oilers coming out of the Olympic break. Yeah, you have that 8-1 win over the Los Angeles Kings that got TJ Smith a new job.
Yep.
And then you have a 6-5 loss to the Ducks and a 5-4 loss to the San Jose Sharks in that California road trip. So, yeah, their goalies aren't doing great, but seemed like they needed a defenseman as well. So I do like the move for the Oilers. Gets a good piece in there for them. I think they probably still need a center. Be looking at like a third line center probably for them. And by the sounds of what the insiders are saying, they're not going to address goaltending, which seems to be their biggest issue. Tristan Jarry just has not worked out there at all. It's actually expected to see Connor Ingram in net tonight for the Oilers. But I like it for Chicago. I think it makes sense for them. Murphy probably wasn't going to stick around. You get a second-round pick. I think it's fine business for them.
So the Oilers, since the middle of January, have let in 39 goals in 10 games. Like, literally 4 goals a game. And imagine if you're Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and some of the management, you're like, you can't score 5 every single night to win hockey games. They've literally averaged giving up 4 goals a game every game in their last 10 games. And not to, the world's best teams. Toronto, Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Jose twice. And I know like San Jose's okay, but they're not like top of the league. This has not been a schedule that they have run through. Calgary, Anaheim twice, San Jose twice, Toronto, Los Angeles. Like, this isn't the who's who of the National Hockey League. They've allowed 4 goals a game over their last 10 games. So they need to fix it. And I applaud them for going out and setting the market and getting a guy that they think can really help their defense core. And I think they're going to bring in somebody else that's also going to help, not necessarily with scoring or any of that, but to kind of fit into the team dynamic. Like, we need to get better defensively. And if they're not going to go out and get another goalie, which I do understand, I don't love how Tristan Jarry and Connor Ingram have played, but at some point, you're going to have to stop blaming the goaltending and bring in somebody else new hasn't been around. They got to figure this out as a team. So can they do that? Well, we're going to find out starting tonight, because look at the opponents coming up for the Oilers after Ottawa. This feels like us talking about the Senators last month. After the Senators, the Oilers have Carolina, Vegas, Colorado, and Dallas in their next 4 games. So if you don't think this is a must-win tonight for the Oilers, who came off that trip, and other than the 8-1 victory in LA, giving up 6 goals to Anaheim, giving up 4 to Calgary, giving up 5 to San Jose, like, unacceptable. And now they're going to play some really good teams. And we talk sometimes, like, if I talk to you about the Edmonton Oilers and like, okay, Tanner, are they going to make the playoffs? You kind of think like, oh, well, of course they are, right? Well, don't look now, but the Edmonton Oilers are the second wild card team in the Western Conference as we sit here right now, 4 points up on a playoff spot. And teams like Nashville and the Kings, and I know they beat the Kings handily, but the San Jose Sharks, they're 4 back. They have 3 games in hand on Edmonton. Nashville and the Kings, I don't think they're great, but they're 4 points back of Edmonton. They have 2 games in hand. The Oilers are nowhere near into the playoffs right now. And
I'm looking at their record right now. They have a worse record than the Ottawa Senators.
Right.
They are 29, 24, and 8. Ottawa's 29, 22, and 8.
Yeah, but like, I know you get points and stuff, but they're losses. They've lost more games than they've won this year. The Edmonton Oilers have won 29 games and lost 32. So you don't think this is an important game for Edmonton tonight? I'm telling you. And I mean, Ottawa's going to be ready. I think they are going to be ready. But man alive, like, these Oilers are tipping on the brink right now. And this is just such a massive, massive game for them. We're getting Some input. Our good friend Ethan's back. I feel like Ethan's been gone for a long time. He says, ugh, I hate late starts. Thought it was a good ad for Edmonton. They've been desperate to have anything come in and bolster that blue line. Murphy is a solid shutdown guy. And says, Lee, truthfully, you got me there because I was shocked to see that they have the same number of wins and OT losses as Ottawa. They have 2 more losses. I was stunned. And that's the point. Like, we go through and we think about teams that we just automatically, oh yeah, like they're going to be okay. The Oilers have to be okay, right? They got Connor McDavid, they got Draisaitl, they've been to the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years. Like, they're going to make it. Like, even if they're struggling, they're going to make it. Like, nobody thinks, well, they might be on the outside looking in. Well, I'm telling you right now, they lose tonight to Ottawa in regulation, and then they have those games coming up. You talk about the pressure ratcheting up. So I just expect the Oilers to be great tonight. And it doesn't mean Ottawa can't win, because we've seen them shut down teams and make them look foolish. They made Toronto look foolish on Saturday night. That was men amongst boys. And when have we ever said that, Sens and Leafs, that was an ass kicking, and the worst player on the ice was the Sens goalie, and it was still an ass kicking? Speaking of the Senators and their preparation, and over the next 3 days, what we really expect there. I know we mentioned it before, but I'm telling you, Tanner, it is really my opinion that the number one thing that this team needs is a backup goalie. Like, because they're good. This is the issue. Like, you go back and look at what the Senators have done. They have not only won games, they have completely shut down other good teams. Toronto's not a good team, but I mean, it was embarrassing. The 28-4 shot attempts in the first. At one point, it was like 51-17 in the second period. Like, it was ridiculous. Detroit, they lost that game Thursday. You were there. In the middle, like 14 minutes to go in the second period, Detroit had 5 shots. 5. Mm-hmm. And they should have put them away earlier. We've seen what they have done to other good teams. They're simply not allowing. Vegas only scored 1 goal. Colorado only scored 2 goals. Pittsburgh has been playing really well, 2 goals. They had Reimer in net in Carolina. They should have won that game. They lost 4-3. The Flyers only scored 1 goal. Detroit only scored 2. One of them was on a 3-on-3. The Leafs only scored 2 goals, and they were quite meaningless for the most part. This team is shutting other clubs down. But they cannot go another month with Linus Ullmark and James Reimer and think that they're going to make the playoffs. So that's my big thing this week. What you talked about, and maybe we can dig into it a bit more, like of what they really need and what the price is going to be able to go out and get them. I mean, you mentioned to me in one of your texts about, one thing they do have is 3rd round picks.
Yep.
Right? And I agree with you. Connor Murphy, it's a 3rd round pick or it's a 2nd round pick with 50% retention. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but they're close. Are they going to use one of those picks to go out and shore up a needed area on defense like Connor Murphy? I'm surprised. I actually am. I'm surprised that if Connor Murphy was available and they think they could keep him, that they weren't willing to do more than a 2nd round pick and 50% retention to go get him.
Yeah, I just wonder if that's a guy that's looking at the UFA market right now and saying, oh, I got a chance to make some real money because everybody's getting signed. And I'm already even mentioned about, like, if you're the Oilers, it doesn't matter if this team is struggling right now. You're all in right now if you're the Oilers. You are trying to prove to McDavid that he's going to stay beyond these 2 years. But, yeah, back to the Sens. I think, sure, bringing in a backup goalie would be great. I wonder who it would be and how much of a difference it'll make, because this team needs to ride Linus Ullmark, and Linus Ullmark has to play well if they are going to get into the playoffs. And it's interesting, actually. We were talking about him the other night. I don't think he looked great. Let in a couple softies. He still had a decent save percentage. Mm-hmm. And just statistically, is Linus Ullmark starting to turn things around?
No.
Since his leave of absence, I've got some stats here.
I know.
Since his leave of absence, he is 3-0-1 with a 919 save percentage, a 174 goals against average, and a plus 1.6 goals saved above expected.
Right.
If you want to turn that back to before his break, December 10th, because he did get I believe he was in the 3 stars of the week just before the exit. He started kind of playing well. So since December 10th, 7-0-2, 905 save percentage, 221 goals against average, plus 2.4 goals saved above expected. If you put up those numbers for this entire season, the Sens are a playoff team right now.
Yep. My question back to you is, I don't care what stats you throw at me. Do you think the team in front of him believes in him to make a big stop in a big time? My answer is no.
Probably not. No.
That's an opinion on my part, but that's what matters. They are going to play some big games. They're going to be in some big spots. They're going to be down a goal and can't give another one up. They're going to be in a tie game. It's going to be late in the third period. And does the team truly believe that their goalie is going to make the stop when it counts? They're playing so well defensively. I can't blame Ullmark for the loss against Detroit, but they never should have lost that game.
No.
You'd like them to score more, but not a great goal. The Leafs and Detroit scored a goal that got taken away by an offside as well. That was a terrible goal. Right? It was a terrible goal.
Yep.
And then the Leafs scored 2 goals that were not great either. And now the team overcame that, and we're like, it doesn't matter. Like, Toronto's super bad, so we're going to put it to them, and we're not going to make this an issue. But if your mindset is that you have to go out and like stomp a team because you can't afford to be in that spot of up a goal or in a tie game late, that's just a lack of confidence. And you then become afraid to make a mistake, to let normal shots go on net when they should be stopped. And they also look to the schedule. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4 back-to-backs before the end of the year. You're telling me that Linus Ullmark is playing all of them, or are you going to tell me in the second last game of the season that James Reimer has your season on the line? You're going to tell me that in a back-to-back situation, Monday, Tuesday, again, where they're at the Rangers in a couple of weeks, and then they're at Detroit the next night with travel, you're going to put James Reimer in one of those games when it's, maybe you're 3 points out of a playoff spot and can ill afford to lose? I just don't think so. That's the point. And I think that has more of an impact with the confidence of the team than another forward that can help out. Like Ethan says, again, Lee, your point, I agree on a backup, but do you not think Ottawa should be getting a forward who can finish? Finishing's been a massive issue for this team, I think, more than a D. Well, yeah, but why do you think a guy's going to come in, even if he's decent at scoring goals? What's he going to cost? And then is he going to be able to do it here? Like, they have the guys to score goals. They're not doing it, but I would rather trust in the group that they have to end up getting that done, as opposed to bringing somebody else in that you think you're fixing this entire problem. Look at Fabian Zetterlund. Oh, don't worry. He's going to come along. He's going to be a big part. He's going to do this and he's going to do that. And he never has. Man, I would be way more confident, Tanner, of going out and getting another D that can get into the lineup and you not be afraid to play him. And whether he's playing on the third pair or he ends up going up with Chabot and playing on the second pair, you're trusting that nobody's going to get hurt from now until the end of the year, which to me is, with all these back-to-backs and how important all of these games are, that's another thing. You are taxing. They were lucky on Saturday. They didn't get taxed at all because the Leafs were terrible in the Travis Green just ran all the lines and made sure the ice time was even. But if you're going to win a lot of these big games, like Jake Sanderson's playing 25 minutes a night.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Stützle's playing 22, 23 minutes a night. To think that nobody's getting hurt from now till the end of the year would be naive. To me. Absolutely naive. I need another, like, if one of the defensemen goes down, regardless of who it is, do you really believe that Nick Matenpalo's going to be the answer? Like, if, heaven forbid, the Artem Zub goes down. And I don't even think Artem Zub's that good. But yeah, on this team, he's really good because of what's behind him. There's not much behind him. If he goes down, what are you doing? You're going to play Jordan Spence and Tyler Clevin and Nick Matenpalo and Nick Jensen? All of them? I don't know. I would rather a D and a backup goalie. But then the question becomes, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but I'm into it tonight, Tanner. This is it. Because this week is the most important week, the massive week for this team. In the next 3 days, their season is really defined. Are they a buyer? Like, we're talking like they're a buyer. Are they?
I think so. Just with where they're at and how close they are.
Okay.
And with the way that the market's looking right now. Now, if they go and get spanked tonight and again against Calgary, you're probably looking at deadline day a little bit differently.
But they could play well tonight and lose, right? Like Edmonton.
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't really know how much tonight's game I'm gonna put on defining the rest of the year. The Calgary game, yes. But the Calgary game's, by the time that game is done, you have like 15 hours until the trade deadline. When that game finishes on Thursday night.
I think they're buyers, but it can't be rentals. It can't be anybody on an expiring contract.
Right.
And I think it could be a case where, similar to the Allmark deal, if there is a bigger trade, maybe it's laying the groundwork for something that happens in the offseason. But I also think that the way the group is clicking right now, you probably don't want to move anybody out in a big way anyways. I meant to bring this up. Like Nick Jensen, we were harping on him especially a lot before the break because he was playing bad.
Right.
And he was probably the worst defenseman on the team. Like Matenpalo probably should have been playing for him.
Yeah.
I'm going purely on eye test right now.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't stood out to me in a bad way since the break.
Yep. I would agree with that. The team defensively has been terrific.
It's the systems. Maybe he needed that 3-week rest, but he's not looking like a guy that egregiously needs to sit in the press box right now. And like, is anybody super eager to take him on? Like, are they going to get great return for Nick Jensen?
No, absolutely not. He's probably more valuable to your team now than he is peddling him off for what? Like, he's not as good as Connor Murphy.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and if you're going to bring in another right shot guy, you're going to have Jensen and Matenpalo, both right shots, sitting in the press box.
Exactly.
And what do you do in that case? So maybe it is a forward. Well, you've also got David Perron, who's about to be back as well, who's been skating, and Travis Green said last week could join them on this road trip.
When David Perron was healthy last year, he showed me, because I didn't believe in him. I thought he was gone. I thought he was washed up. He was hurting before, but I didn't know if he'd ever get over the injuries. I just didn't think that.
Yeah, he was dealing with some personal stuff off the ice too.
Yeah, for sure. But near the end of the year, I was like, wow. Like, this guy is.
And in the playoffs too.
He is he's a much different player when he's healthy and an effective player still. You only hope that they can get him back and healthy so that they have a bit of more of a run coming up in March. It is that time. It's such a fun time of year because the scoreboard matters a lot. Like, we're sitting here on March the 2nd. Is it March 3rd today? Yeah. Yep. See, Tanner, you need to just correct me. Every day is the same. The Boston Bruins are at home to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Huge game for the Ottawa Senators because it just matters so much when you look at the standings and you go, okay, well, The Boston Bruins are in that second wild card spot at 71 points. And look who's behind them. Washington at 69. Columbus at 68. Philly with another win yesterday over the Leafs. They're up to 67. And Ottawa at 66. Are they catching Montreal or Detroit? Another 4 or 5 points up to those guys? I'm not sure they are. I think if Ottawa's making the playoffs, I still think it's the Boston Bruins or bust. So that's the team that they have to catch. The Boston Bruins have been one of the best teams. I had it last time. I believe since January 15th, they've been the best team in the NHL.
That's correct, yeah.
So, and I'll bring it up here in a sec, but this is a team that you're going to have to work really, really hard to get by. They're up 2-1 at the end of 2 against the Pittsburgh Penguins, who also have been playing very good hockey. The Buffalo Sabres, they're just a damn good hockey team at this point. They're not in the conversation to catch them. Buffalo's going to make it. They might, to me, win the division. Like,
how about those rumors today too
about Robert Thomas?
That'd be quite the pickup for them. Think Josh Norris is going the other way?
I don't know that.
Just like for cap reasons. Because if they're bringing in an $8 million guy, are they going to pay Thompson and Thomas and Norris down the middle? Like, you think Ottawa's paying a lot for their centers right now? I want 3 of them at $8 million.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. Again, the scoreboard. If you want a good bet for the rest of the year, bet against the Florida Panthers.
Did you see Paul Maurice, his bench interview today?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
Right. But it's over for them.
Yeah.
Like you can hear it, you can see it, you can see the frustration.
You know it's bad when he's saying his goalie should go up into the rush because he's got better hands than his forwards.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like he's got nothing to lose, right? Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. No. He knows. He's just trying to light that fire at the end of the year, but they're done. That Utah-Washington game, huge game for both teams. And right now, Utah leading Washington 3-1 at the end of 2. Both of them right on the bubble of the wild card race. Another one that's huge. Nashville with a 2-1 lead in Columbus against the Blue Jackets after 2 periods. And how about that Columbus game where they're up 4-0 against the Rangers, just sliding in easy. This is going to be a piece of cake. They give up 4 in the 3rd period, but then win it in overtime, 5-4.
That's crazy. I did see the shot of MSG, like the whole crowd shot. I've never seen that building so empty for a hockey game before.
So empty.
Oh my God, that they're checked out. But yeah, if you're a Sens fan, you're definitely cheering for the Nashville Predators tonight, who also made a trade today. I was a little surprised by that. Yeah. Popping up on my phone as I was in the drive-thru, I see a notification from Elliot Friedman going to Minnesota. And I was like, oh, is it Trocheck? Open my phone. A 2nd-round pick for Michael McCarron. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit of a steep price than I would thought, but yeah.
Also, if you missed the story, Tanner driving 20-25 minutes each way to go to Taco Bell tonight after work. Impressive. I think a lot of people that are watching missed that story. It was told off the top. But like you had a full hour or more where you were in the car just going to Taco Bell.
It's like 40 minutes. It's not that bad.
Plus the time in the drive-through.
They were very slow tonight.
I'm betting the time you left your house to the time you walked in your house, it was an hour.
Give or take, sure.
Yeah. I think that's impressive on a Tuesday night. Chris is in. Rangers haven't won a home game in 99 days. Last win was November 24th against St. Louis. Imagine being a season ticket holder there and going,
that's brutal.
Think the boys are going to win tonight? Probably not.
It's about to get worse too. Trocheck is definitely gone this week. I don't think there's anyone I'm more confident in getting traded. But I saw Adam Fox's comments the other night too. Not that I think he's going anywhere, but he doesn't sound like he wants to be there right now.
Yeah, it's amazing when things don't go your way that players all of a sudden are more willing to talk. They're more willing to say things. Yeah, it's been a train wreck there for a long time. But the one thing I would say when you say it can't get any worse, or it's going to get a lot worse when they trade Trocheck, they trade these guys. Sometimes it actually gets better.
Sure.
And the reason it gets better is because you have really, really good veterans that have literally checked out of the hotel and they're gone. Like they're nowhere near. And younger players who are worse, but actually give a damn. It's amazing what happens when teams are in that spot. Chris saying JT Miller just went on IR as well. Again, not that I would fault JT Miller, but I do think teams get better when the guys who are like, you're not taking my spot, but I'm going to suck, but you're still not going to take my spot. When they're not playing anymore, your team gets better. Ethan said, I've never seen a player more checked out and with such an attitude problem as JT Miller.
Is he the worst captain in NHL history? Like, it's got to be up there.
Well, I know one guy that was better.
Yeah, the captain of OSN.
Yeah, the captain of OSN, Brad Brown. If he's not around, is he? Okay,
I'll say it might be the worst. You know, we talk a lot about like mutually beneficial trades that like go great for both teams.
Yep.
I mean, it might be the most mutually unbeneficial trade. The Rangers and the Canucks. It's like it sent them both into rebuilds. They're trading away all their guys.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes is gone. Miller sucks. Pettersson sucks. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's amazing that it did that, right? Man, there's so many good teams playing so well right now. The New York Islanders, one of those teams that you just don't really pay all that much attention to. They've won 5 in a row, and they've won 8 of their last 10, and they've done it, like, for the most part, they've done it pretty dominantly defensively.
They just feel like a completely different team this year. Like, they're actually fun to watch.
Yep.
Who knew all it took was just getting rid of Lou Lamoriello, but
and maybe Matthew Schaefer in the lineup.
That true. Yeah.
Helps a lot.
I've seen a lot on social media. Apparently, they're pretty deep in talks with the Canucks right now about Connor Garland, who's a guy that I think's been tied to the Sens. Travis Green's a big fan of his, apparently.
Yeah. But again, you have these teams that, like, I don't know, we don't pay a ton of attention to the Islanders. At least I don't. They're just one of those, they're okay. Oh, okay, they're going to make the playoffs. They'll lose in the first round. But they're 35-21-5, 75 points. I mean, they're not a shoo-in to make it, but it's the Capitals and the Blue Jackets that would have to catch them. And Capitals have 69 points, and they're losing tonight. And the Islanders would then have 2 games in hand on the Capitals if Washington can't come back against Utah. Man, 6 points with 2 games in hand, that's a big hill to climb as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you're in, you're going to do something to give your team, like, hey guys, we're good. And that's what this week is about. Teams that are either on the cusp and they give the team a bump for confidence, like, we think you're good enough to get there, and we're going to go give some assets away. I can't tell you how much that means in the dressing room. It literally is the difference sometimes with how well teams play after the deadline. It doesn't have to be a big move. But if you make a move that you just sort of add to your lineup and the team looks back and goes, okay, the management and the coaches, they believe in our group. They're giving assets away to make our team better because they believe in this group. The confidence that can give a team, immeasurable. Not every team's in the same circumstance. Like, that's not the same circumstance in Edmonton, like getting Connor Murphy. They know that they're underachieving. They know they're really good. They don't need a bump for that. They need some help. Like, they need to get actually better skill-wise. But there are other teams, and I think Ottawa is one of them, that, man, we're 5 points out of a playoff spot. We'd have to climb over like a few teams, but we got to get to Boston. The management really thinks we can. They believe in this group. Tough one tonight, though. I'm telling you, it's If they win tonight, and we're going to get to our predictions here in a second, game is going to start. If they win tonight, Tanner, there's a lot of people within the team that will believe that they can get there. Because no matter how far, like if Boston wins tonight, they're still going to be 5 points back. But they got Calgary, they got Vancouver. The Seattle game's tough, but you come home, not hard to get fired up for the Montreal Canadiens at home. You're home for a bit. Like this is the launching pad into the deadline tonight. They're going to really believe that they can get there if they win this game. All right. So what do you think is going to happen as we get set for the puck drop in Edmonton here?
Yeah, it's a fascinating game. Ottawa needs to outscore their problems more than likely tonight. I know that their defense has been really, really good lately, but you're going to have a hard time shutting those two down. You can only stick Shane Pinto on one of Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, and even then, that's a tough matchup for Shane Pinto.
Yeah.
They got to play good defensively, but I don't know that it's going to be enough. I think McDavid, especially I watched his media today and the body language that he had. You know, the mannerism I pick up on him is when he's upset, he shakes his head when he's answering his questions. Like he's going, yeah. We got to do this.
He's got that look. The guy might be 160 pounds soaking wet. I don't know how. I'm sure he's bigger than that, but he's not like a physically intimidating guy. He scares me to death. When he's angry, it's like I just do not want to be in front of that guy when he's legit angry.
Yeah, and I think the way Allmark's been playing lately, I was talking up his numbers a little bit earlier, but
look at you. Oh, he's look at his save percentage and look at his 3-0-1 record. But this is a game that he's got to be good.
He has to be, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough no matter what, just the way that those two are going to feast. I was trying to figure out the last time that this team, the Senators, actually won in Edmonton. I'm pretty sure Matt Murray was probably in net that night or something. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time. Feels like this team is like your Vegas, your Carolina, your Colorado, just always feasts on Ottawa. Last time it was surprisingly close. They beat the Senators 2-1 in overtime. It's Jake Wallman there in October. But I think it's going to be a higher scoring game this time. And I think the Oilers are going to take this one.
Yeah, I think like if I'm betting with my head and not my heart, it's hard not to think that the Oilers are going to score like 4 times tonight.
That's what I was thinking. Probably like a 4-1, 4-2 type game.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5-2, maybe even with an empty net, but I just don't know that Ottawa can score 4 goals or 5 goals tonight to beat the Edmonton Oilers. But we say that they have shut teams down completely. And can they do that to Edmonton tonight, right? If they can.
I think between that and just throwing everything on net, because Ingram and Jari have not been good.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it earlier. They brought Murphy in. He's not ready to play tonight. He's arrived in Edmonton, but he's not good to go for this game. Yeah. And their pairs are in an absolute blender right now. Like you would think probably Ekholm Bouchard would probably be a lock for this team. But Ekholm's playing on the 3rd pair tonight. So their pairs are Wallman Bouchard, which offensively you've got to look out for that. But we know how Bouchard can have those defensive lapses.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Nurse and Emberson, and then Ekholm and Stastny.
Really?
So kind of a weird look for their D pair. And I think if you can take advantage of some of those matchups, then you might be able to just throw some pucks on net and see what happens. Because the Sens power play has been great. Their PK numbers have gotten much better. That's another thing I was looking at today. So, yeah, if they can get a lot of shots on net, some of them are going to start going in.
Well, playing with the lead and trying to shut down and frustrate the Oilers, always the plan against Edmonton. Can you do it tonight against a very desperate Oilers team? We will find out. Tanner, always fantastic. Thanks very much. Get in on the chat if you can. Our boy Zach McGibbon's going to be here afterwards, but it's a late one tonight, so people do need to get some sleep, but we appreciate it very much. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Chris. Zach in on the chat, and We will talk to you right after the game. This is overtime here on OSN. So, Tanner, thanks very much. Enjoy the game tonight. And we will definitely be talking to you Thursday and maybe Friday with a trade deadline show too, depending on what happens. So, lots to get to. What a big week it is for the Senators and across the National Hockey League with the trade deadline coming up on Friday. All right, enjoy the game tonight, Tanner.
Yep, you as well. And I'll for sure be in the chat afterwards.
Okay. Myself, Zach McGibbon, maybe Steve McKenzie will be along as well. This is the pregame show. Ottawa and Edmonton coming up next. Stick around for This Is Overtime directly after the game here on OSN.